Hey mom, today was a normal day at school, which made it a surprisingly effective setting for thinking more deeply about patterns. By patterns, I mean recurring structures in how people allocate energy, attention, and effort over time as constraints change. Patterns are observable tendencies that repeat across different scales, from classrooms to civilizations, even when the surface details look different. Patterns aren't predictions and they aren't tied to specific tools. They're the repeatable ways humans respond when technology alters what is scarce and what is abundant. One of the clearest historical patterns is how much human energy used to be consumed by survival. For most of history, the majority of people worked directly to secure food, shelter, and basic safety. The agricultural revolution lowered some of that burden. The Industrial Revolution reduced it further, and the 20th century accelerated the shift dramatically. As productivity increased, fewer people were required to meet basic needs. What followed wasn't idleness, but redirection. Large portions of human effort moved into administration, services, culture, entertainment, and creative work. This wasn't a moral shift so much as a structural one. When survival becomes less demanding, attention looks for somewhere else to go. Speed is where the pattern starts to feel different. The movement from subsistence farming to industrial labor unfolded over generations. The spread of personal computers took decades. Smartphones reshaped daily life over roughly 10 years. By contrast, recent advances in AI are making systems from just a few years ago feel obsolete. The pattern of energy reallocation is the same, but the compression of time is new. Capability is compounding faster than institutions, norms, and individual identities can comfortably adjust. Historically, that gap between what technology enables and how people organize around it has always existed, but it has rarely been this narrow. This is where the thinking game becomes relevant. If patterns show that tools change faster than roles, then anchoring identity to a specific function is fragile. If patterns show that abstraction, synthesis, and taste gain value as execution becomes cheaper, then developing those capacities becomes a rational long-term bet. That kind of leverage doesn't come from being first to adopt a tool, but from understanding what the tool changes structurally and placing attention accordingly. Looking at history also helps temper short-term anxiety. There's a recurring tendency to treat each wave of technology as unprecedented and destabilizing. The printing press, industrial machinery, radio, television, and the internet all triggered similar fears about displacement and decline. In hindsight, the pattern is consistent: disruption, reorganization, and eventual normalization around new forms of work and expression. The details differ, but the structure repeats. Seeing that makes it easier to stay oriented without dismissing the real speed and impact of current changes. What a normal day at school provided was not new information, but a reminder that patterns are easier to see when nothing dramatic is happening. When attention isn't consumed by novelty, it becomes possible to zoom out and compare timelines. The long arc of human energy shifting away from survival and the short arc of technology building on itself at accelerating speed are part of the same story. Leverage comes from noticing how those arcs intersect and choosing to align with the direction of movement rather than reacting to its surface effects. I ate dinner with the Koi fish and that was it for my day. Okay, love you, bye.